Hello everyone, this is Darcinovia here. This is another review, and this time we are not tackling a TCW related comic. Unfortunately, we haven't covered Marvel 108 yet, and it's going to be a while. But by the time you're seeing this, you'll already know I have the comic. So, this, whatever, so be patient with me about reviewing Marvel 108. This comic, at least the issues I'm reviewing, are issues 18 to 23. Now, in this story arc, Han, Luke, and Leia get trapped in a gambling ship that's a casino, but in a starship that's run by a former senator of the old Republic or the Empire, whatever. Now, this story, for the first like 3 issues, Luke is like sick for some reason. And this is kind of a plot device because if Luke was, able to do what he's normally able to do, the story arc would have ended in 1 or 2 issues. So they needed an excuse to stretch it out for at least 5 issues. Now, I love this arc a lot more than the previous ones because I feel like this is a point where the Marvel Star Wars comics felt more like actual Star Wars in terms of the stories. Like, I could easily see something like a gladiator arena on a spaceship. I could easily see that. And the issues that featured Han Solo, surviving in a gladiatorial arena was kind of cool. And the art is a step up from the previous arc. Even though it's nothing amazing, I did enjoy the story significantly more than the previous one. And I feel like this is where the comic started to become better, in my opinion. I can't say, with the next major story arc, well, it's not major, it's 2 issues, The Siege of Yavin, but I think this arc is pretty good. It's still not top tier Star Wars comic material, but I still consider it a fun story to read. That I think you could pick this up, you know, without reading the previous issues, as long as you've read it at least, the issue 18 at least. I think this arc can be read on its own. I give this a good rating. I think it's a fun little adventure. If you're looking for some more Star Wars material and you're curious about the pre, Timothy Zahn Star Wars, stuff, I think I would recommend this. Now, one last thing I like to show, because I forgot to do this, so sorry for this mistake. I'd like to show the art. Like when I say I think the art look is significantly better this time around. I know I should have shown it, earlier in the review, but the only criticism I do have is Chewie still looks like, he still looks like Bigfoot. But other than that, I have no problems with it. Next time, I'm going to be reviewing issue 24, which it could possibly be the first Clone Wars era story. Later, guys, and may the Force be with you, always. This time, I'm going to be reviewing issue 24 of the classic Marvel Star Wars. Now, unlike the other, comics, this one doesn't really take place right after a previous comic chronologically. This actually takes place, at least the present takes place after issue 15. If you care about reading everything in chronological order, though I don't think, who cares? Published order, in my opinion, is the most preferred order to read. So, how does this individual issues stand out. How is it compared to other comics? Now, I did not cover the previous issues in one video each because I didn't feel like it was necessary. But considering the fact that back then, this is the only Clone Wars era story that was released before the prequels. And I'm actually surprised this was allowed to be greenlit because George Lucas forbid, writers from writing in this time period. But honestly, considering it's kind of isolated from the rest of the Clone Wars era material, that it doesn't conflict with anything. Now, how's the story? Well, the story is essentially a story that was told by Leia's father, Leia Organa, about Obi-Wan Kenobi during the Clone Wars. And even though his appearance looks like old Ben, but hey, come on, we gotta think of reason for this. Back then, we didn't know what a young Obi-Wan would look like. And two, that's what Leia remembers Obi-Wan looking like. So that's why I assume that you have an Allen Guinness looking Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Clone Wars instead of an Edgar McGregor looking Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's not a big deal to me. Now, the art. Unlike my last review, which I screwed up and didn't reveal what I think of the art, I'm going to show you what I think of it here. I think the art is probably my favorite of the Star Wars comics so far that isn't an adaptation of A New Hope. Honestly, because I think that these look gorgeous. I'm a sucker for like 70s and 80s art. Yeah, this looks amazing, in my opinion. And of course, I'm going to show what Obi-Wan looks like. Leaves a good picture for it. Hold on, let's see. Give me a second. Sorry, I'm just... Yeah, well, it's hard to find a full panel, but I think that the artist did a really good job in this comic. This is probably my second favorite, comic of the whole run so far, and I'm looking forward to reading more. Next time I review Marvel Star Wars, we're going to get to the Siege of Yavin. Have a great day, everyone, and may the Force be with you.